In the wild world of underground fighting, few names strike fear and awe like Kimbo Slice. From his gritty beginnings on the streets of Miami to becoming a viral sensation and MMA icon, Kimbo's journey is nothing short of legendary. Today, we're diving deep into the rise of Kevin Kimbo Slice Ferguson, the backyard brawler who transformed himself into a global phenomenon and redefined what it means to be a fighter. Get ready to relive the action, heartbreak, and triumph of a man who fought against all odds. In the early 2000s, Kimbo Slice's street fighting videos took the internet by storm, turning the bearded powerhouse into a global sensation and the undisputed king of underground brawls. Emerging from the gritty streets, Kimbo brought his knockout power to the MMA stage, cementing his legacy in combat sports. His life had all the drama of a Hollywood action movie, right down to its heartbreaking end.
I guess whenever I decide to shave the beard, that's when I'll probably put Kimbo at rest. But would Kimbo ever be at rest?
Born in the Bahamas in 1974, Kevin moved to the United States with his family as a child, settling in Florida. Growing up in a rough Miami neighborhood, young Kimbo was no stranger to the harsh realities of life. The streets were dangerous, he'd recall later. You'd take out the trash and sometimes you'd see a body. You just threw the garbage in the dumpster and ran back inside. In school, things weren't much easier. Bullied for his accent and targeted by classmates who even tried to steal his lunch, Kimbo had to fight for respect. His tough upbringing gave him no choice. "I taught him. Respect is given, not taken," a family member remembered. "Look them in the eye, don't back down." And he never did. Kimbo quickly made a name for himself as one of the toughest kids around. In middle school, he met Mike Kimber and the two became fast friends. Already over 200 pounds, Kimbo didn't just defend himself, he'd stand up for his friends too. "If I needed help, Kimbo was always there," Mike said. He hated bullies and he made sure no one messed with anyone he cared about. Despite his rough surroundings, Kimbo had dreams beyond the streets. He aimed to become a football star, and by his high school years, he was one of Miami's top prospects. But life had other plans. In 1992, Hurricane Andrew devastates South Florida, destroying homes and leaving thousands, including Kimbo, homeless. For a month, he lived out of his car. The football season was cancelled, shattering his athletic hopes. Kimbo briefly attended the University of Miami on a modest scholarship, but his college career was short-lived. After just one semester, he left school and pursued a shot at the NFL, trying out for the Miami Dolphins. Unfortunately, he didn't make the team. With his dream of professional football slipping away, Kimbo turned to the streets to survive, working odd jobs to make ends meet, washing cars during the day and bouncing at nightclubs when the sun went down. 2 years passed with Kimbo working odd jobs until a chance encounter with an old friend changed everything. In the early 2000s, Mike Kimber, who was now a producer in the adult film industry, crossed paths with Kimbo and learned about his situation. Sympathetic to his struggles, Mike offered his friend a job. Kimbo began chauffeuring exhausted actresses in limos and securing the film sets. It provided some stability, but as a young father, Kimbo needed more to support his family. Mike, ever resourceful, came up with an unconventional but brilliant idea. He knew Kimbo was unbeatable in a street fight, so why not turn that into a hustle? The plan was simple. Drive around the city, take bets, and let Kimbo face off against anyone brave enough to step up. The strategy worked like a charm. Kimbo's fists quickly became his biggest asset. At first, these fights were private, but Mike saw an opportunity. He hired a cameraman to capture the action. Kimbo's first recorded fight was against a 260-pound ex-con named Big D. Right from the start, Kimbo dominated, and despite Big D's pleas for a break, Kimbo kept coming. He finished the fight with a vicious hook that left Big D battered and bruised. Mike uploaded the video online, and it soon made its way to YouTube, where it exploded in popularity. With that fight, Kimbo gained the iconic nickname Slice, and soon the world knew the Miami Slugger as Kimbo Slice. He continued to roam the streets, laying out challenges one by one. His intimidating presence and raw power meant few could last even 3 minutes with him. Often, Kimbo would take on 2 or 3 challenges in a single session, leaving a trail of bruised and beaten bodies behind. Each new video attracted more attention, racking up millions of views. Long before video blogging became a thing, Kimbo was one of the first to reach YouTube stardom. Riding the wave of his rising fame, Kimbo decided to elevate his street league. He grew tired of being the only one fighting at these events. "I want to watch some fights too," Kimbo told Mike. "I've got the perfect kid for it." That kid turned out to be none other than 18-year-old Jorge Masvidal. Despite being significantly smaller, Masvidal wasn't fazed when matched against an undefeated heavyweight. He accepted the challenge without hesitation. "You want to fight in a few hours?" Jorge recalled. I was like, hell yeah, let's do it. That street fight, now legendary, was the first step on Masvidal's path to MMA stardom. While Kimbo continued to reign as the king of street fighting, he sought a challenge that would push him further. That challenge finally came in the form of police officer Sean Gannon. Gannon wasn't just any cop, he was a 6-time Golden Gloves boxing champion with MMA experience. They agreed to an all-out no-time limit brawl with a 30-second knockdown rule. It was set to be a clash like no other. Kimbo wasted no time going after Sean Gannon, but the policeman weathered the early storm and fought back with a counter. When Gannon attempted a guillotine, it infuriated Kimbo's corner, while Gannon's crew grew frustrated when Kimbo secured a takedown. As they returned to their feet, both fighters were clearly exhausted, yet Kimbo continued hunting for Gannon's chin, and the policeman mixed his attacks between the body and head. Despite being drained, neither man was willing to stop throwing punches. 7 minutes into the brutal brawl, Gannon unleashed a series of unexpected elbows that sent Kimbo to the ground. Though he managed to rise, the exhaustion took its toll, and he collapsed again within seconds. Kimbo, defying fatigue, stood up once more, but the fight was essentially over. For the first time in his career, Kimbo had been defeated, though you wouldn't have guessed it from looking at Gannon, who was battered and bruised himself. While the fight exposed some weaknesses in Kimbo's style against a skilled opponent, his heart and fighting spirit were undeniable. The video titled Kimbo Slice Versus. Police Officer quickly went viral, racking up over 10 million views across various platforms, far surpassing any MMA content that year. Up until this point, professional fight promoters had largely ignored Kimbo, but after this match, a fierce competition to sign him began. Rumors of Kimbo transitioning to professional MMA had been circulating for years, and in the summer of 2007, those rumors became reality. It was announced that the 33-year-old would make his debut at Cage Fury Fighting Championship, a rising organization in the sport. His opponent, none other than Ray Mercer, the Olympic gold medalist and former WBO boxing champion. With a massive audience tuning in, Kimbo wasn't about to waste time. He charged Mercer, pinning him against the cage and unloading powerful strikes in the clinch. After landing elbows and working Mercer's body, Kimbo scored a double leg takedown. Though Mercer managed a sweep, he soon found himself locked in a tight guillotine choke. In just 90 seconds, Kimbo earned $80,000, a payday that many UFC fighters could only dream of. More importantly, he proved that he could adapt his street fighting skills to MMA, legitimizing himself as a true mixed martial artist. Kimbo's TV appearance skyrocketed Cage Fury Fighting Championships ratings, highlighting his star power. It was clear this was only the beginning for the Bahamian brawler. "I beat Ray Mercer in 1 minute and 27 seconds, Kimbo would later recall. "That's when I realized if I dedicate myself to this, I can do it." From that moment on, his future in MMA was sealed. Following his explosive debut, Kimbo caught the attention of EliteXC, one of the fastest growing promotions in the US at the time. His first challenge under their banner, a battle-hardened veteran. And there you have it, Kimbo Slice, whose first ever MMA fight was against a boxing legend like Ray Mercer, faced a guy with over 20 fights in his second bout. While some were concerned about this, Kimbo certainly wasn't. As soon as the bell rang, Kimbo went on the offensive. He set his opponent up for a brutal ambush, landing a body shot that instantly rattled Cantrell. Then came the finishing sequence. a rear hand uppercut to the body followed by an elbow to the head, a combo so vicious that it left fans stunned. Cantrell crumbled, giving Kimbo his second consecutive MMA victory. Kimbo Slice wasn't just a street fighter who made it big in MMA. He was a cultural phenomenon who blurred the lines between the streets and professional combat sports. His rise from backyard brawls to mainstream MMA stardom showed that raw talent, grit, and determination can open doors that no one thought possible. Though his professional journey in the sport was cut short, his impact remains undeniable. He was an underdog story that inspired millions. From humble beginnings to fighting on national television, his legacy is one of perseverance and heart. Even in defeat, Kimbo commanded respect. He may have left us too soon, but his memory and influence will forever be cemented in the world of combat sports, where he proved that the odds don't stand a chance against unrelenting willpower.